Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Muller here for MeteoMark's Weather. It's great to have you here with me. We have a lot to talk about here. This is an extremely stormy pattern. I'm a bit more concerned about, flooding as we go in time here. We're going to have lots of surges of moisture here along the East Coast, one Wednesday and Thursday, and then another one this weekend. We will have the potential for an interior higher elevation snowstorm here across parts of the Northeast as we head towards the weekend into early next week. We'll take a look at all that and maybe some lake enhancement as well behind it. And we'll take a look at long term here to see what the weather pattern will hold. Let's get into it. And here across the east, we could be looking at staggering rainfall totals as we go over these next several systems across the east. Could we actually be looking at several inches of rainfall? And here across the Northeast, we could be looking at some snowfall here, particularly the higher elevations later this weekend and early next week with some possible lake enhancements off Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. I'll have all the details for you later on in the segment here. And what about this Inferno ridge here across the east? Do we have any chance of that breaking down anytime soon? I'll have all the details for you. So our severe weather outlook here, it really starts to get cranking here across north central Texas and parts of South Florida here. You can see on Wednesday. So this is valid heading on to Wednesday and Wednesday evening. And here we go on Thursday. This is where things are really going to start to get going. All the ingredients start to come together here, and that's going to start to push towards the Northeast. But look at this here across north central Texas, extreme southern Oklahoma here, from Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, Abilene. These areas, watch out for damaging wind, large hail, and potential tornadoes. So if we start off here with your GFS model, we're going to take a look at these storms. Look at out west here. It's just one storm right after another. Here across the southeast and the east, we're dealing with that little weak coastal. Then we have this second system behind it. Some snow out here across the plains as we go throughout your Wednesday here. Yeah, it's another surge of moisture, especially Wednesday afternoon and evening here across the Northeast. You're going to be getting anywhere from a half to 3/4 of an inch of rain. Inland, however, 1 to 2 inches plus along the coast. And look at that in northern Maine and New Brunswick. That's where we start to get into some heavy wet snow up here with this first system. You can see that is pushing up along the coast. It is just too warm for coastal areas to get any sort of snowfall. So as we get this next system behind it, we're going to be looking at this system really pushing to the east a lot further west than what we originally thought here. Well up into the Great Lakes. That's surging the warmth here across the lakes, the Ohio Valley, into the Northeast, just in time for Saturday and Sunday. Now, we might have some wraparound snow on the backside of this, right just to the northwest of Indianapolis, west of South Bend. You'll have to keep an eye on this because this is a pretty strong low, and that will be wrapping up snowfall on the backside of it. So maybe changing over to some brief wet snowflakes here in Cleveland and Detroit area. This is 7 p.m. on March 9th. So this is Saturday. You might get a slushy inch or less. Here on the front end of the system, it's mostly rain. You get some heavy rain here across interior New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. We're going to be some higher elevation snow here across parts of northern New England. So the mountainous terrain, look what's happening though. This is 12 p.m. on Sunday, March 10th. Look at this lake enhancement snows. Don't be surprised if you wake up to some snowflakes here. It's not going to be like blockbuster unless you're like from Buffalo, Erie, Jamestown area. Watch this, especially just inland towards Jamestown. You might end up with 3 to 6 inches out of this. Something to really keep an eye on. We'll go over those snowfall totals momentarily here. But see here in the Gulf of Maine, that low pressure kind of robs this upper level low behind it, the primary low, and then you start to get a solidification here of this snowfall here into northern Maine, New Hampshire, and New Brunswick. Look at New Brunswick is going to be the bullseye here for the snowfall, even wrapping around here on Monday into Tuesday. Look at that. Yeah, early Tuesday morning, we're still wrapping this 984 millibar low out, and then it starts to push to the southeast. Now, what's happening behind this? We have a big warming trend behind this. There you can see towards the 15th, March 15th, a big plume of moisture up there across the southern Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. Another coastal storm moving right up the coast, but look at it. It's all rain. we're just going to keep piling rain on top of rain. I am concerned going into springtime here with this much rain. We're going to have some flooding problems. And then another system here, March 17th, that's going to usher in that big pattern change where we're going to get some cold air behind it, but it doesn't look like it lines up with any major storms to produce any winter storms. All right, so with our European model here, and then I'll show you our future radar. Look at this. There it is across the east. Wednesday, another low pressure riding up, more surge of moisture, pretty much agreeing here with the GFS. Now, our next system, this is how it's evolving here on the European model. You have two areas of low pressure, one up here towards Detroit and the other one down near Jackson, Mississippi here. So this is on the 9th, early morning, Saturday morning. So here we go. We have that surge of moisture across the east. First low pressure kicking up here towards Quebec. Second area of low pressure initializing here around New Jersey. So you know there's going to be a lot of rainfall in the area. It's just to the north there, I think, you know, the higher terrain of interior northeast into New Brunswick. That's where you'll start to see the heavy snow really take effect. And you see this comma shaped right behind it. This is some lake enhanced snow southeast of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. And look at those isobars. You know it's going to be very windy behind this area of low pressure as it moves up here into the Gulf of Maine by this time. But there it is. It kind of moves towards the southeast at this point, and we're still dealing with a lot of wind here across the northeast. And look at this, even some wraparound snowfall here. Wet snow. It's not going to be like amounting to anything major, but you can almost see this inverted trough here on the European model just behind it here across eastern New England. We'll have to keep an eye on this because these Norland troughs can kick off some, you know, heavier precipitation, and we'll have to keep an eye on it. This system might hang around for quite some time here before moving out to sea. All right, so yeah, there's going to be some snowfall up here, but I'm going to go with the composite reflectivity here off of this, you know, 24 to 48 hour outlook here. So let's pull up our HRRR future radar here, and you can see where a majority of these shower and thunderstorm action is going to lie. Overnight, the peninsula of Florida getting hit really hard here. Strong showers and thunderstorms. Look at all that heavy rain up in the parts of Georgia here. Eastern Tennessee, you're just going to get hit with a lot of rain. It doesn't look like a lot of severe weather at this point. But look how it starts to pivot northward here. Eastern Tennessee getting hit. And look at these thunderstorm action as we head overnight into early Wednesday morning here and late morning. This is where the Outer Banks start to get hit around 11 a.m. And this is just going to pinwheel right up the coast here towards March 6th here at 6 p.m. So right on, look at this. This almost looks like a mini tropical system as it heads right up towards the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay here. Look at eastern New Jersey. Wow. Up to Long Island. This is a big slug of moisture. Here on the backside, it's going to be, of course, all rain continuing here. So look at this, 2 a.m. on Thursday morning. Long Island is getting hit pretty bad here. And then north here, you're going to be getting some pretty heavy wet snow up here into parts of Maine and New Brunswick. So look at this as we continue in time. Yeah, by 10 a.m. on Thursday, the 7th, that heavy rain and precipitation is pushing up north. And look at our next big system. Let's just back this up just a little bit. You're going to have to watch out for some pretty severe weather here as we head on into Thursday afternoon and evening. Liquid equivalent precipitation. This is the big concern here as we go through just, you know, Wednesday and Thursday here. This is the first shot of heavy rain here along the East Coast. Look at that, 1.5 inches all the way up closer to 2.5 to 3.5 inches here into the red zones. And as we continue to go through time here over the weekend, look what we're adding here. We're adding insult to injury. Essentially, we're going to continue to pivot all of this heavy moisture north as well here back in the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys into the lower Great Lakes as well. So a lot of moisture to be had. And as we go out here longer term, yeah, this is just not looking good. Look at Florida here. This is total inundation. This is like indicative of tropical season, which I have to say, this tropical season is probably going to be one of the worst we've probably seen in quite some time. Look at here in the Northeast as well. And here's our liquid equivalent here on the European model. Wednesday into Thursday, that big surge of moisture, about 1 inch to 2 inches here. locally higher to 3 inches, and watch for the weekend. It's pretty much agreeing with the GFS. Look at this. That's a solid 2.5, 3.5 inches, closer to 4 in some of these areas here through the Mid-Atlantic and New England. And then we just continue to go out here in time. Yeah, you get the idea here. So our snowfall forecast here on the European model, you get a brief, bit of snow here into northern Maine and New Brunswick. Look at that. It could be pretty significant there in New Brunswick, upwards 6 to 12 inches. Maine about 3 to 5, northern Maine. Look at, there is our system over the weekend. Sunday and Saturday night, Sunday and Sunday night to early Monday. Here it is. It's mainly an elevation event on the backside of the system, and even some lake enhancement here from Cleveland, Erie, and Buffalo areas. As we continue to go out in time, that just reinforces behind it here. And if we take a look at the latest GFS here, look at what's going on. Yeah, the Rocky Mountains are just getting pummeled out here. Even central Canada, south central Canada. But there's that system over the weekend there across the Northeast. You get some lake enhancement here. Also, you're looking at those higher elevations, northern New England. Look at New Brunswick, though. That's probably going to be the jackpot winner here for snowfall. And as we head into the Northeast with your GFS totals, there it is. Look at that Maine. Yeah, northern Maine, you could see warning criteria snowfall. That falls later morning Thursday into Thursday night there. So some brief, heavy snow there. And then there it is as we head on into early Sunday morning. We're piling more snow on top. Also, some lake enhancement. We'll get that out of the way there. Look at that. That looks pretty interesting. Off Lake Erie, maybe some enhancement from Ontario as well as we go throughout. There it is, some wraparound snow. So Maine into New Brunswick, that's where the heaviest is going to be. But look at this. This isn't too shabby as well. Even Cleveland might eke out some slushy accumulation of an inch or less on the grassy surfaces. But Erie up to Buffalo, inland here, it could get really interesting. Jamestown area, maybe some warning criteria snow. And you take a look at the European model here. It's a little bit more tapered here. The Thursday snowfall in northern Maine. There's the Adirondacks, the white green mountains there, getting some heavy warning criteria snowfall. Wow, this is pretty pronounced elevation snow. This is not going to be down here along coastal areas. It's going to be up here in the highlands. Look at this, though. Yeah, the European is kind of more tepid, as I say here, for the snowfall coming off of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Nevertheless, that's still something. So Erie to Buffalo, this looks like, on the European model advisory criterion, it looks like there might be some Georgian Bay type of connection possibly here, all the way up to the northern Great Lakes, Lake Superior area. So if we take a look at the upper air pattern here for the European model, look at this Inferno ridge. It's going to be sliding off to the northeast and strengthening, kind of back building here. But watch this piece of energy here into the Four Corners region, the southwest part of the United States into northern Mexico. That's going to combine forces with the northern stream trough here as we get towards, say, the late weekend here. And it just seems like it's going to be one big rainstorm with, of course, an elevation snowstorm inland. So, yeah, more rain for, areas that have just seen so much rain so far this winter. Look at that. Behind it, the ridge, the Inferno ridge builds back in, and we get another digging trough out here into the desert southwest. So upper air pattern for the CFS medium range forecast model. We head through the mid to late part of March here. Yeah, it does get stormy, particularly that time frame I was talking about just after the 18th. You start to get this conglomerated massive trough. I mean, it's still positively tilted, though. So will you get any storms with us? No, they'll all head out to sea just like this. So I don't know. It looks like our window of opportunity for heavy snow here across the east is dwindling. Now we get into the first part of March. This looks like an impressive trough, but by this part, April 3rd, can you really get much accumulation unless you're in a higher elevation or nighttime? Not really. And Derek Rentschler here from Lebanon County, Pennsylvania, Middle Creek Wildlife here. Snow geese back on February 27th. Snow geese making their trek, and this is a popular spot. They like to stop. Looks like a very beautiful lake area here. Very nice here, Derek. You can see them taking off as well as landing. There is a tremendous amount of them here. You You can see that. Look at that. That is crazy. Nice captures there, Derek. So if we take a look here on the European model, we'll get an idea if we have any major cold air outbreaks. It's just not happening. Look at this is where all the major cold air is up here into northern Canada. You don't even see it coming southward that much. In fact, look what the raging Inferno is doing here across the east. Lots of 50s, 60s, and even some 70s here. As we head towards, look at this. This is pretty warm. Even as we head towards, we can only go out to the 15th on this model. Let's go hop over to the GFS. All right, so as we head out towards right around the 18th, I want to show you this because things really start to flip-flop here. Look what happens out west here. This is towards, say, the 17th, St. Patrick's Day here. And then as we head towards 18th, 19th, and 20th, we try to get a surge of cold air here in the east, but it's a real battleground. Look at this. Massive heat just to the south and some cooler air to the north. You know that's going to spell a severe weather outbreak at some point here. Canadian weather outlook here. Let's take a look at your winter storm outlook. Yeah, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and the west coast of Canada. That is where we're going to see the biggest snowfall totals. Anything in between, it's just high pressure. That is about it. And some rainfall here from Toronto up to Quebec City here in Montreal. Yeah, look what's happening here as we head towards the weekend. That is that system I was telling you about. There for New Brunswick, you are the bullseye for heavy snow, and that pinwheel's a little bit towards Newfoundland here, but it's mostly New Brunswick. Nova Scotia, it's kind of a rain or mix. Now, look at the west coast of Canada here. You're just going to continue to get pummeled one system after another through the mid part of the month until you start to get a little break here. Maybe a burst of some heavier snow in western Ontario here. That heads way to the north. Look at that rain snow line. You're going to see these big surges of warmth here into parts of eastern Canada. So, yeah, big flip-flops here. That's the time of year. March is a flip-floppy month here. And look at that. We start to get the potential here, maybe southern Ontario, some overrunning precipitation as we head towards the 19th. It might be cold enough. I tell you, Toronto and Montreal, you just haven't seen, like, the tremendous snowstorms of this year. But look at most of Canada by the third week of March. It's looking really quiet. Canadian snowfall amounts here. Look at that. New Brunswick up to Newfoundland. You could be seeing 20 to as much as 35 centimeters of snowfall out of these couple systems here. That's interesting. Even northern Quebec, north central Quebec here, northern Ontario. Look at the west coast of Canada. It is a bonanza for snowfall here, upwards of 110 to 150 centimeters of snowfall the next week and a half. So, the tropics. Yeah. It's the calm before the storm. Enjoy it while it lasts here because this hurricane season I'm very concerned about going into a massive La Nina year. And the sea surface temperatures being as much as 4 to 6 degrees above Celsius. And we're not even near summertime yet, but look at how nice and quiet things are here through mid-March. This looks really nice. You do start to get some shower activity around Central America here with a little bit of a weak area of low pressure towards March 11th. But you know what? This actually is not bad. Please enjoy it. Here across the southern Bahamas towards the 14th, maybe some gusty showers and thunderstorms here from Cuba, Haiti, and then towards Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. All right, precipitation here, all liquid equivalent in the Caribbean. You better hope it is. Here in the northern Bahamas as we head through this weekend, look at that, 40 to 60 millimeters. It'll get upwards of about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Here in the parts of Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, look at Central America. You don't start to moisten up here until about Wednesday, March 13th. That's when you get a little bit of moisture, but this is not much. This is only 6 to 8 millimeters. And as we head to the eastern Caribbean, southwestern Bahama area, look at this. Yeah, let's get that out of the way. Look at this. We get some showers heading through the central Lesser Antilles here, parts of Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. Look at, there is a rain shadow here in the Turks and Caicos. It's not looking like a lot of rainfall here. That's going to change in time as we head closer to hurricane season. I got plenty more weather for you in just a moment, but take a look at my affiliate. Do you want some awesome maps? Check this out.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
All right, temperature-wise, yeah, you can see where winter is. It's kind of bottled up way up here in the plains. Springtime is continuing here across the east. Look at this surge of moisture. You do see around the lakeshore areas kind of holding in the 40s, but just inland, away from those cooler lakes, you're going to see 60s. Look at here to support the severe weather outbreak here across parts of the south. Look at, you are almost 80, pretty much every location here along the Gulf Coast. Look at Florida. You're going to have readings in the mid to upper 80s here Friday. That is crazy to even think about here. Look at this surge of warmth here back to east here, even into the Ohio Valley on Friday into Saturday. Yeah, we get a little bit of a cool front here, but you know what? We're still above average. You're still in the 40s. 30s here near the lakes, maybe some lake in hand snows. You do get this little cool pool of air, if you can really call it that, but look what's surging. Things are just abnormally warm. You just can't get any sort of snow with this. In fact, you know what you can get of? A whole lot of severe weather outbreaks, and that's what we're going to be keeping a very close eye for. Look at this, March 11th, Monday. It's just looking so spring-like. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. Take a look at the rain moving in Wednesday as well as early Thursday, particularly Wednesday night. We're going to have probably up to 3/4 of an inch on average of rainfall here. Lots of rain. And then Thursday, the clouds throughout the day into Friday burns off to nice sunny skies, almost near 60. Look at the weekend, though. It turns cooler with rainier conditions. Some of those real high hilltops, say above 1,500 feet, could get some wet snow mixed in Saturday night and then again Sunday night. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also at Weather Northeastern, also at Hurricane Northeastern, and also at Susquehanna Weather. Also Twitter at Weather Eastern, and you can visit me at MeteoMark.com. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to check out my winter weather outlook for 2023-24, and link in the description down below, as well as my affiliate, Trilogy Maps.